Cancel your vacation. We need the house for my daughter's bachelorette party, my sister texted. I'd booked the beach house 8 months in advance. We're family. Stop being difficult, Mom added in the group chat. I replied, you're right. Family first. Then I called the property manager. Remove their access codes. When 14 women showed up to lock doors at 9 p.m. My name is Jackson. I'm 32, and I'm a journalist in Richmond, Virginia. 8 months ago, I booked a beach house for one quiet week in September, my first real break in 2 years. I paid $4,860 upfront, plus a $750 security deposit, because that's what you do when you want something to actually be yours. You commit. Then my sister texted me, like she was doing me a favor. Cancel your vacation. We need the house for my daughter's bachelorette party. I stared at the message until my eyes burned. Before I could even type, Mom added herself to the conversation like she'd been waiting behind the curtain. We're family. Stop being difficult, she wrote in the group chat. They thought I'd fold. Like always. They didn't know I'd booked the place under my name, my card, my contract, and, most importantly, my control. So I replied, calm as a glass of water. You're right. Family first. Then I called the property manager. Hi, I said. This is Jackson Carter. I need you to remove all access codes except mine. There was a pause. And then, of course, Mr. Carter. Hours later, when my inbox pinged with the updated access list and the signed rental agreement attached, everything changed. Because when 14 women showed up to lock doors at 9 p.m., heels sinking into sand, phones lighting up the dark, there was nothing left to argue about. Only truth. Only boundaries. And finally, consequences. The thing about being the reasonable one is that people start treating you like a public utility. You don't get asked. You get assigned. Growing up, I learned that be flexible meant be invisible. Mom didn't say it like that, of course. She dressed it up in soft words. Jackson, you're the easiest. Jackson, you understand. Jackson, don't make a scene. My sister, Qley, was the opposite of easy. She was a storm that everyone moved furniture for. And my niece, Tessa, Qley's only daughter, grew up believing the world should shift when she blinked. I didn't hate them. That's the part people always get wrong. I didn't sit around plotting payback. I just got tired of being treated like the extra chair you pull out when guests arrive. The birthday cake. When I turned 12, Mom baked a chocolate cake. I remember because chocolate was my favorite. She set it on the table and smiled like she'd nailed it. Then Qley walked in, looked at it, and wrinkled her nose. Chocolate, she said. Gross. Mom didn't even hesitate. Oh, honey, she said to Qley. We can fix that. She scraped the frosting off, literally scraped it, then ran to the store for vanilla. I sat at the table, watching crumbs stick to her fingers. Dad didn't look up from the TV. Qley smiled at me like I was supposed to laugh. You don't care, Mom said, as if she knew my feelings better than I did. You're not picky. That was my first lesson. If you don't fight, they assume you don't matter. The scholarship dinner. At 17, I won a scholarship. Full ride. It was the kind of thing that should have been a banner, balloons, someone crying into a napkin. Mom took us out to dinner at a chain restaurant, and she spent half the meal talking about Qley's new boyfriend. I tried to bring it back. They said my essay was. Mom said, cutting her chicken. Qley, tell your brother what Brandon's dad does. It's very impressive. Qley leaned back, glowing. His dad owns a dealership. Dad finally looked up. Smart girl, he said to Qley. I swallowed my pride with my soda. Later, Mom patted my arm in the parking lot. Don't be sensitive, she said. You know we're proud. You just don't need as much. That phrase followed me into adulthood like a shadow. You don't need as much. The adult labor. By 26, I had a job, an apartment, and enough therapy vocabulary to name what my family did without starting a war. Qley called one Saturday morning. Hey, she said, too cheerful. Can you come help me move? Brandon's at work. I have a deadline, I said. She laughed like I was joking. Jackson, please. It'll take like an hour. It took 6. I carried boxes while Qley filmed a TikTok about moving day chaos. At one point, she stopped me in the hallway. Careful with that, she snapped. That's fragile. It was a box of her decorative wine glasses. I had not eaten. I had not sat down. I was just there. When I finally left, she kissed the air next to my cheek. You're the best, she said. I don't know what we'd do without you. She didn't know. She just liked the arrangement. The final straw setup. 2 years ago, I started covering a court beat that ate my life. Days blurred into hearings and late-night edits. My phone lived in my hand like a second pulse. I promised myself that when I got through the summer, I'd take 1 week. 1 week where nobody needed anything from me. So I chose a beach town 3 hours away. Quiet. Clean. A house with a balcony that faced the ocean. I booked it 8 months in advance because that's how you get the good ones. When the confirmation email came in, I sat back in my chair and exhaled like I'd been holding my breath since childhood. I didn't tell my family at first. Not because it was a secret. Because I knew. I knew how it worked. If you have something nice, they start planning around it. But I slipped up in August. Mom called during a lunch break. "What you doing?" she asked. "Just surviving," I said. "Trying to make it to my vacation." Mom perked up. "Vacation?" I should have lied. I didn't. "Yeah," I said. "Beach house. September. I need the quiet." There was a small, thoughtful pause. Like she was filing it away. "How nice," Mom said, and her voice went warm. "You deserve it." I remember thinking, maybe she's changing. I remember being stupid enough to feel relief. The text came 3 weeks later, on a Tuesday, while I was eating noodles over my keyboard. Kayla's name flashed on my screen. "Kayla, cancel your vacation. We need the house for my daughter's bachelorette party." I blinked. I read it again. I typed what? Then Mom's group chat notification popped up. The family chat, Carter Crew, because Mom thought it was cute. Mom had already added Qley, my Aunt Denise, my cousin Mark, and Kayla's fiancé Brandon. Mom didn't waste time. "Mom, Jackson, we're family. Stop being difficult. Tessa's bachelorette is once in a lifetime." "Qley, exactly. You can go another time. You don't have kids. You can be flexible." There it was again. Be flexible. Be invisible. I set my fork down. My stomach went cold. I typed slowly. "Me. I booked it 8 months ago. It's non-refundable. It's under my name." Qley responded with a screenshot of a Pinterest board. Tessa Bach weekend, filled with matching swimsuits, champagne flutes, and a neon sign that said Bride Tribe. "Qley, we already planned everything around that house. Don't ruin this." Mom piled on. "Mom, honestly, Jackson, you always make everything about you." Aunt Denise chimed in like she'd been waiting for her cue. "Aunt Denise, come on, honey. Let the girls have fun." I stared at my phone. I could feel the old reflex rising, the one that says, if you just give them what they want, the discomfort ends faster. But I also felt something newer, a hard little seed of anger that didn't want to be swallowed. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I asked one question. "Me, who told you about the house?" Qley answered immediately. "Qley, Mom did. She said you'd understand." Mom sent a heart emoji. A heart. Like she hadn't just volunteered my money and my week like it was a community donation. I exhaled through my nose. "Me, no." Kayla's response came in fast, messy. "Qley, are you serious right now?" "Mom, Jackson, don't do this." "Qley, you're being selfish." And then Mom dropped the line that always worked, the one that made me feel like the villain for having a spine. "Mom, we're family. Stop being difficult." I could almost hear her voice. That syrupy firmness. The way she said family, like it was a law. And Qley, my sister, the storm, added her own twist. "Qley, don't embarrass me. The girls are counting on it." That word hit me wrong. Embarrass. Not hurt. Not disappoint. Embarrass. Like my only purpose was to keep her from looking bad. I typed one sentence, and I chose it carefully. "Me, you're right. Family first." Mom immediately reacted with a thumbs up. Qley sent, "Thank you." I stared at the screen, my fingers still on the glass. Then I stood up, walked into my bedroom, and pulled my rental folder from the drawer. Yes, a folder. Journalist brain, keep receipts. Inside was the printed agreement, the payment confirmation, the property manager's contact, and the email thread where I'd asked, very clearly, about guest access. The house used keypad codes. Temporary ones. Easy to assign, easy to revoke. I picked up my phone and called the property manager. She answered on the second ring. "Seabright Properties, this is Marla." "Hi Marla," I said. "This is Jackson Carter. Reservation #SB 1147. "Oh, Mr. Carter," she said, bright and professional. "Yes, I see you. September 14th through 21st. We're excited to host you." "I need to update something," I said. "My family thinks they're using the house instead." Marla's tone shifted. Not dramatic. Just alert. Are they authorized guests? No, I said. They're not. Understood, Marla said. What would you like me to do? My voice came out calm, almost gentle. Remove all access codes except mine, I said. And add a note. If anyone shows up claiming they're with me, they are not. Please don't let them in. Marla didn't hesitate. Done, she said. I'll email you confirmation. Do you want me to change the lockbox code as well? Yes, I said. Please. She typed. I could hear it. The clack of keys like tiny judgment. Anything else? She asked. I swallowed once. If they cause trouble, I said, call the non-emergency line. Marla's voice softened. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, she said. But yes, we handle situations like this. You're the primary renter. Your name controls access. Primary renter. That phrase felt like a door clicking shut. Thank you, I said. After I hung up, I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. Kayla. Okay, so I need the address and the code. I didn't answer. Another buzz. Mom, send your sister what she needs. I looked at the messages, and something in me went quiet. Not numb, just resolved. I opened my email. Marla's confirmation was already there. Subject, access code update confirmed. Attached, a PDF, clean, official, unemotional. It listed the authorized code, Jackson Carter only. It also included the clause Kayla and Mom had ignored. Unauthorized guests constitute trespass and may be removed. That PDF became my artifact of truth. I didn't send it yet. I waited. In the weeks leading up to the weekend, the group chat turned into a parade of entitlement. Kayla messaged like the house already belonged to her. Kayla, can you ask if there's a blender? We're doing frozen marks. Kayla, also does it have enough towels for 14? Kayla, Tessa wants string lights on the balcony. Is that allowed? Mom sent supportive commentary like she was the event planner. Mom, this will be so special for Tessa. Mom, Jackson, you did a good thing. I didn't correct her. I didn't warn them. That's the part people love to moralize about. They want you to announce your boundaries politely, in advance, in a font that doesn't upset anyone. But here's what I knew, deep in my bones. If I warned them, they would escalate. They'd call. They'd show up at my apartment. They'd cry in guilt and recruit more relatives. And if I still said no, they'd paint me as cruel anyway. So I chose the only option that protected me. I let them believe the lie they'd already decided was true. And I got my ally. Not a lawyer. Not a muscle-bound cousin. A quiet, competent property manager named Marla, who followed contracts like scripture. The day before the Bachelorette, Marla called me. Mr. Carter, she said, just confirming your check-in time for next week. Yes, I said. And, I want to reiterate, they are not allowed. I have it noted, Marla said. We've removed all old codes. Only yours will work. Thank you, I said. Then she added, almost casually, we've had a few calls from someone claiming to be your sister. My jaw tightened. What did you tell her? I asked. I told her only the renter can make changes, Marla said. She wasn't happy. I almost laughed. Of course she wasn't. Marla, I said, if she calls again, don't engage. Just repeat policy. Already doing it, Marla said. When I hung up, my phone buzzed again. Kayla, why won't they answer me? Did you tell them I'm your sister? I looked at the screen. This was the part where old Jackson would scramble to smooth it over. New Jackson typed one line. Me. They only deal with the renter. Kayla sent a string of angry emojis. Mom called me immediately. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call. Then a text. Mom, answer your phone. This is ridiculous. I didn't respond. I went back to work. That weekend, I didn't go to the beach house. Not yet. My vacation was still scheduled for the following week. The Bachelorette weekend was the weekend before. Kayla and Mom had assumed I'd cancel and hand it over. But I hadn't canceled anything. I'd simply removed their access to something that was never theirs. On Friday night, at 8:47 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. A chorus of wind and yelling hit my ear. Then Kayla's voice, sharp enough to cut. Jackson. I pulled the phone away slightly. What? I said. We're here, Kayla hissed. We're at the house. The code isn't working. In the background, I heard someone shout. Try it again. Then a different voice. My feet are killing me. Kayla's breathing sounded fast. Did you change it? She demanded. I pictured it. 14 women in matching outfits, suitcases lined up like a little airport, glittery sashes, a cooler on wheels. And a keypad that didn't care. Yeah, I said. Silence. Then why? Her voice cracked on the word, like she genuinely couldn't comprehend it. Because it's my rental, I said. I told you no. Kayla made a noise between a laugh and a sob. You said family first, she snapped. You said yes. I said you're right, I corrected. Family first. So I put myself first for once. Are you joking? She spat. Tessa is standing here humiliated. I could hear someone in the background, louder now. Is he serious? We drove 4 hours. Another voice. This is so embarrassing. Kayla lowered her voice, like a threat wrapped in a whisper. Open the door, Jackson. No, I said. Mom's voice suddenly cut in. She must have been on speaker. Jackson, Mom said, trembling with anger. What are you doing? Do you understand how selfish this is? I leaned back against my kitchen counter. I kept my tone even. I'm enforcing my boundary, I said. The house is not available to you. Mom's voice rose. After everything we've done for you. I stopped her. Don't, I said. One word. Flat. Kayla jumped in, vicious. You're a miserable little man, she said. You always have been. There it was. The humiliation line. Short. Brutal. Familiar. My chest tightened, but I didn't take the bait. I let the truth hold the line. You don't get to rewrite what you did to me, I said. And you don't get to take what I paid for. Kayla's voice wobbled. So what? You want us to sleep in our cars? No, I said. You can get a hotel. Mom gasped like I'd suggested arson. A hotel? She snapped. For 14 people? Do you know how expensive that is? Yes, I said quietly. I do. Because I was the one who'd paid for the house. Kayla started crying, but it sounded performative, like she was crying for the audience around her. Jackson, she said, voice suddenly sweet. Please. Just for tonight. The girls can sleep on couches. We'll be out by Sunday. You won't even know. I closed my eyes. That was always the pitch. Just this once. Just for tonight. You won't even know. And then the next time, and the next time, until your life is a series of just this once that never ends. No, I said. The line went quiet for a beat. Then someone in the background shouted, Call the cops. Kayla hissed, Don't be dramatic. Then Mom again, venomously calm. You're going to regret this, she said. I promise you. I opened my eyes. Maybe, I said. But I won't regret finally being honest. Kayla screamed my name. I ended the call. Immediately, my phone blew up. Texts, calls, voicemails stacking like bricks. I didn't listen to them. I opened my email and forwarded Marla's PDF to myself again, just because it steadied me to see it. Then I did one more thing. I sent one message to the group chat. Me, the property manager, has been instructed that only I am authorized. If you cause trouble, you'll be removed for trespass. Please make other arrangements. And I attached the PDF. The artifact of truth. The contract. The clause. The reality they couldn't shout over. What I imagined happened next was chaos. What actually happened was worse. It was human. Because people don't like being told no. They like being told no even less when there's an audience. Later, Marla emailed me a short summary. Not dramatic. Just facts. 9:03 p.m. Group arrived and attempted entry. Codes failed. 9:11 p.m. Guests called office line. Were informed only renter could authorize. 9:22 p.m. Guests became disruptive. Neighbors complained. 9:31 p.m. Non-emergency contacted. 9:44 p.m. Guests left property. 14 women, dressed for a party, turned away like a bad reservation. I stared at the timestamps. Part of me felt sick. Not because I'd done something wrong. Because I knew exactly how Qley would spin it. She would not say, I tried to steal my brother's vacation rental. She would say, Jackson abandoned us. She would say, Jackson humiliated Tessa. She would say, Jackson hates family. And the enabling crowd would nod because it was easier than admitting the truth. I went to bed early, like someone who'd survived something loud. The next morning, Mom's voicemail was waiting. I listened once. Her voice was shaky, theatrical. Jackson, I don't even recognize you. Your sister and Tessa were crying all night. People were laughing at them. Do you understand what you did? You made us look like fools. She paused, and her tone sharpened. Call me. Fix this. Fix this. Meaning, undo your boundary so we can go back to using you. Kayla texted a screenshot from Instagram. A story post. 14 women in a hotel lobby. Forced smiles. Captioned. When the rental falls through, but we still party. Kayla's message underneath. Kayla, everyone knows you did this. Hope you're happy. I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have words. Because I finally understood something clean and simple. If someone only likes you when you're useful, they don't like you. They like the version of you that doesn't take up space. Around noon, Aunt Denise called. I almost ignored it. But then I thought, let's see what angle she takes. Jackson, she said, voice syrupy. Honey, you've caused a lot of upset. I enforced my contract, I said. She sighed dramatically. You know what I mean. We don't do this to family. We also don't steal from family, I said. A beat. Steal is such a harsh word, she murmured. I laughed once, short and humorless. I paid for the house, I said. They tried to take it. Aunt Denise lowered her voice. Your mother is heartbroken. I went still. No, I said. My mother is angry she couldn't control me. Denise sucked in a breath like I'd slapped her. You're turning into one of those people who cuts off family, she warned. I kept my voice level. I'm turning into someone who stops letting family cut me, I said. And then I ended the call. That was the moment it became real. Not a fight. Not a misunderstanding. A boundary. On Monday, I got an email from Qley. Not a text. An email. Subject line, invoice. I opened it. She had actually typed out a list of expenses she claimed I owed her. Hotel rooms, partial. Emotional distress. Decorations wasted. Bride disappointment compensation. At the bottom, she wrote, total due, $2,940. I stared at it, stunned into a kind of quiet awe. Then I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, Eric, not because I needed to sue, but because I wanted to know what to say that ended this clean. Eric replied within 10 minutes. Eric, she has no claim. Do not engage. One written statement. You did not authorize use. You will not pay. Further contact should be through counsel if they persist. I didn't want counsel. I wanted silence. So I wrote one message. Not angry. Not pleading. Clear. Me. I did not authorize your use of my rental. I will not reimburse any expenses you chose to incur. Do not contact me about money again. Kayla responded instantly. Kayla, wow. So you're dead to us. Mom followed. Mom, I hope your little beach week was worth losing your family. I looked at those words for a long time. Because that was the real trade they'd been offering me my whole life. Compliance in exchange for belonging. And I finally saw it for what it was. A bad deal. The next week, I went to the beach house alone. When I arrived, the sunset was spilling across the water like molten copper. The air smelled like salt and clean wood. I typed my code into the keypad. The lock clicked open like a promise kept. Inside, the house was quiet in a way my childhood never was. No demands. No guilt. No performance. Just me, a balcony, and the ocean rolling in and out like it had all the time in the world. I set my bag down and walked to the sliding doors. For a moment, I stood there with my hand on the frame, breathing. Then my phone buzzed again. Mom, of course. A text this time. Mom, I can't believe you're doing this to us. Think about your father's health. Think about what stress does. My father's health. Another lever. I stared at the message, and I felt the old panic twitch, like maybe I should apologize just to make it stop. Then I did something small, symbolic, and final. I opened my contacts. I blocked Mom. Then I blocked Kayla. Then I blocked Aunt Denise. One by one, like closing doors gently instead of slamming them. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was spacious. I sat on the balcony that night with a beer I didn't even taste. The waves kept their steady rhythm. And I thought about how many times I'd been told I was selfish for wanting basic respect. How many times family had been used like a weapon. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt sad. And then I felt free. Because boundaries aren't revenge. They're reality. You don't have to punish anyone. You just stop participating in the version of you that keeps getting hurt. A month later, Mom tried a different tactic. She mailed me a card. No return address. Inside, she'd written in looping cursive. I forgive you. When you're ready to apologize, you know where we are. I stared at that sentence, and something in me actually smiled. Not because it was funny, because it was so perfectly her. She couldn't even admit she'd done anything wrong. She had to forgive me first. I didn't reply. I didn't send a long explanation. I didn't write an essay about feelings. I took the card, folded it once, and put it in the same drawer as the rental agreement. Receipts. Artifacts of truth. Proof that I didn't imagine it. Then I went back to my life. Work. Friends. A quiet Saturday morning where nobody needed anything from me. And the next time someone told me, we're family, stop being difficult, I finally had the words ready. I didn't shout them. I didn't even say them out loud. I just lived them. Family doesn't mean access. And love that requires self-erasure isn't love. It's control. So here's my boundary, clean and final. I don't do group chats that gang up on me. I don't negotiate my no. I don't be flexible when it means being invisible. I blocked them, and I kept them blocked. And the last thing I did before I turned off the light that night at the beach house was close the sliding door with 2 fingers, soft, controlled, and listen to it latch. Not a slam. A decision. I stopped volunteering for a role that only existed to shrink me. This story teaches that boundaries aren't revenge, they're reality. Family doesn't mean automatic access to your time, money, or peace. People who benefit from your flexibility may call your no selfish, but that doesn't make it wrong. Keep receipts, use clear agreements, and act calmly instead of arguing. If someone only values you when you're useful, they don't value you. You're just convenient.